Penny's Big Bang Theory spinoff return is now more likely after Kaley Cuoco's new update. The Cuoco Conundrum: how Kaley's flight from Gotham paved a runway for Penny's return. In the sprawling universe of television sitcoms, few stars have burned as brightly or evolved as dramatically as Kaley Cuoco. For 12 years, she was the charming, street-smart anchor of The Big Bang Theory. Penny, the aspiring actress turned pharmaceutical rep, who, against all scientific probability, became the gravitational center for a group of brilliant, socially awkward physicists. When the show signed off in 2019, the question wasn't if we'd see these actors again, but how. For Cuoco, the answer was immediate and decisive. She launched into the stratosphere with The Flight Attendant, a high-octane thriller that shattered her typecast and announced her as a serious, versatile, and powerhouse producer. Now, with the dust settled on her Emmy-nominated turn and the recent conclusion of her acclaimed series based on a rose, a new update from Cuoco has sent a jolt of excitement through the fandom. It's an update that doesn't just reflect on her past, but actively recontextualizes it, making the once distant dream of a Penny-focused Big Bang spinoff not just a fan fantasy, but a compelling and suddenly more likely creative venture. From maybe never to never say never. The shift in Cuoco's stance. For years, the concept of a Penny spinoff was met with a polite but firm dismissal from Cuoco. She had given 12 years of her life to the character and was, understandably, eager to explore new creative frontiers. The shadow of Penny was long, and Cuoco was determined to step out of it, proving her mettle in darker, more complex roles. Her production company, yes, Norman Productions, became a hub for innovative, female-driven stories, a far cry from the multi-camera laugh-track world of CBS. However, in a recent interview on a popular podcast promoting her new projects, the tone shifted. When the inevitable question about TBBT and a potential return arose, the answer wasn't a closed door. "You know, it's funny," Cuoco mused, a reflective tone in her voice. "For the first few years after we wrapped, I needed the distance. I needed to be Kaley, not Penny. But time is a funny thing. I'm so proud of what we did on that show, and I love that woman. I really do. Penny is a part of me. I think about her often, wondering what she and Leonard are up to. After doing The Flight Attendant and producing my own stuff, I see it differently now. If the right story came along, something that truly honored who she is now, and didn't just rehash old jokes, I'd be open to it. I think it could be really special." This is not just a casual comment, it's a seismic shift. It's the move from maybe never to never say never, and it's a shift powered entirely by the creative capital Cuoco has built for herself in the years since the show ended. The Flight Attendant effect: how Cuoco earned her power. To understand why this update is so significant, one must appreciate the transformation of Kaley Cuoco, the actor, into Kaley Cuoco, the producer and industry player. The Flight Attendant was her declaration of independence. As both the star and an executive producer, she was no longer just a performer executing a vision. She was an architect building it. This experience has fundamentally changed her relationship with any potential return to Penny. She is no longer an actor who might be typecast. She is a producer who can shape the narrative. A Penny spinoff would no longer be a step back, but a new project she could potentially helm, ensuring it has the quality, depth, and modern sensibility her post-TBBT career demands. Imagine the pitch. From Kaley Cuoco, executive producer and star, comes a new chapter in the Big Bang universe. This framing immediately elevates the project from a nostalgic cash grab to a serious continuation, backed by a proven creative leader. Her success gives her the leverage to demand a better, more nuanced story, precisely the kind of story that would entice her to return. What would Penny, the next chapter, even look like? The biggest hurdle for a Penny spinoff was always the premise. Penny and Leonard's domestic life was often the B story in TBBT. What could their show possibly be about? Cuoco's new perspective as a producer and a more mature actor unlocks a multitude of intriguing possibilities that go far beyond Penny deals with Leonard's weirdness. 1. The Pharma Queen narrative. Penny, now in her late 30s, has climbed the corporate ladder. She's no longer just a sales rep. She's a regional director, a natural leader leveraging her people skills in a cutthroat industry. The show could be a workplace comedy drama, tonally similar to The Office or Parks and Rec, but set in the high-stakes world of pharmaceuticals. We see her manage a team, navigate ethical dilemmas, and outsmart Ivy League rivals who underestimate her because she doesn't have a PhD. Leonard, now a respected senior researcher at Caltech, could provide a fun, scientific counterpoint to her corporate world, with their home life exploring the dynamics of a high-powered, dual-career couple. The cameo potential is rich. A frustrated Zach Brian Patrick Wade as a client for his Serious construction company, or Bernadette consulting on a medical trial. To the unexpected motherhood arc. TBD famously had Penny declare she didn't want children, a refreshingly honest take for a sitcom wife. A spinoff could brilliantly explore the complexity of that decision years later. What if she and Leonard, content in their dink dual income, no kids life, have a sudden, unexpected pregnancy? Or, in a more dramatic twist, what if they decide to adopt? This would not undo her previous stance, but complicate it, exploring the societal pressures, personal doubts, and ultimate redefinition of happiness for a woman who thought she had it all figured out. Cuoco, with her proven dramatic chops, could beautifully portray the vulnerability and humor in such a life-altering scenario. 3. The producer Penny pipeline. This is the most meta and perhaps most compelling option. Leveraging her sales savvy and deep, unintentional knowledge of geek culture from living with Sheldon, Penny decides to leave pharma and become a producer. She partners with a struggling, brilliant but socially inept writer, a nod to her past, to develop a sci-fi show or a comic book franchise. This premise would be a direct conduit for Cuoco to inject her own real-life experiences as a producer into the character. It's a show about a woman finding her voice and power in a new industry, filled with cameos from the original cast as they consult on the project. Imagine Sheldon as a notoriously difficult scientific advisor, or Raj as a concept artist. The ripple effect on the Big Bang universe. Cuoco's openness doesn't just make a Penny spinoff more likely, it revitalizes the entire extended universe. Young Sheldon is a massive hit, but it's a prequel, looking backward. A successful Penny-led show would be the first true forward step in the franchise, proving that life after the cafeteria table is rich with stories. It would also pave the way for other characters to return in more meaningful ways. Jim Parsons, Mayim Bialik, and Johnny Galecki have all pursued new projects, but the success of a Cuoco-led series could demonstrate that returning to a beloved character can be an act of creative growth, not regression. It could create a model for a Big Bang next generation of shows, focusing on different members of the ensemble at different stages of their lives. Conclusion. The star has aligned. For years, the possibility of a Penny spinoff felt like trying to force two positive magnetic poles together. There was a fundamental resistance. Kaley Cuoco needed to fly away to find herself, but in doing so, she gained the altitude, perspective, and, most importantly, the power to make a return not just palatable, but promising. Her recent update is the key that unlocks the door. It's the acknowledgement that time has passed, that she has changed, and that Penny can change with her. The audience has grown up, and so has their star. We no longer just want to see the bubbly girl from Nebraska. We want to see the woman she became, the leader, the partner, the individual navigating the complexities of career, marriage, and identity in her late 30s. The universe, in its infinite, mysterious wisdom, has set the stage. Kaley Cuoco has her power, her perspective, and her renewed affection for the character that made her a star. The writer's room now has a blueprint for a modern, character-driven story that transcends its sitcom origins. And the fans are waiting, more than ready to welcome back an old friend, not as she was, but as she is destined to be. The Big Bang for Penny's second act is no longer a theory. It's a hypothesis waiting